All right, guys, so the CvC finished up a few hours ago. Sorry I'm a little bit late getting this video out, but I do have the 5 million CvC badge, and something that I think you're all going to love to see, or at least find pretty humorous, is my personal rewards are tier 1. Unfortunately, this account was not active during the last few personal reward CvCs and got demoted down to tier 1. So, next personal reward, it should say the points earned by the highest individual is 5 million, which is going to look kind of crazy, but it's going to be what it says. So let's go ahead and claim these rewards and see if this was a good return for what I invested. What is this? 405 energy, 8 3-star chickens, 15 rank charms, 3 brews, 1 epic tome, 2 experience, and then 100 clan XP. It is horrible, but hopefully next CvC I'm actually in tier 6 where I would much rather have been. But either way, the resources in either spot aren't really going to make up for what I actually spent. Now, we're going to go over all of that. Check this out. We have some stuff there. Not going to cleanse it here. I've done enough cleansing over the weekend, but end it with 5,028,000 points. I want to give a breakdown on how much the Hell Hades website estimates this would cost if it was a pack purchased in game. $3,847. Did I spend that? Well, stay tuned to find out. Now, if you were to see a pack like this pop up for $3,000, it would be an epic deal. That's pretty decent. So an epic deal, and at $2,000, you are getting a legendary deal. Absolutely amazing, must buy now. Though, to be fair, $2,000 for all this stuff would actually be a legendary deal. $3,500, it's going to be an epic deal as well. You're still getting a pretty good deal. So what was actually spent? So initially, I did a breakdown of what I planned to spend. This was my plan. The plan was for 3.9 million. Obviously, we're missing 1.1 million points here, but this is just the general idea from stuff that I know that I was going to spend, and it turned out to be pretty much accurate. Now, the starting resources is right here. Now this, I'm going to go over what I actually spent, but some things here I'm not going to calculate, which is the potions for ascensions. I mean, I had 4,000 lesser, and now let's see how many lesser I have. I'm not buying that. I've spent plenty of money, Plarium. But for the potion mixer, I have far fewer. I have 648. So I spent a lot of potions and I ascended a lot of champions. So obviously, I don't really know how many points that's going to be, but it's not going to be the majority. I calculated it for well over the majority of points. Also for arena, I had 10 fights before CvC. And then after CvC, let's see how many I had. I had 130 fights with 23 losses. What am I doing? Either way, we had 130 fights. So I did basically 120 fights during CvC, which is pretty good. Now, let's take a look at the actual spent resources. Let me make sure I'm not spoiling stuff before I click over to that, though, because I want you guys to stick around. You know, that watch time, improve that a little bit. So we're going to hide what was actually total spent and as far as my money spent, because that's what all you guys want to see, right? How much of a goofy decision did Tyraku make going for this event? Did he destroy this account that he was given? What is going on here? This dude got an account and spent all the resources in the matter of a few weeks. We're going to go over also what I got as far as pushing the account forward. So for the event dungeon, you guys already saw this. I did a video on it, but I spent 61,000 energy. For item upgrading, I spent about 1.3 billion silver. Billion, that is more silver than I've ever had on any other account. But 1.3 billion silver. Mythical tomes, I spent 12. Legendary books is 221. Now, the legendary books, majority of those were not wasted. Some of those were just put into champions who don't actually need them. But there were some Tatsus in the account who I wanted to use during some Cursed City stuff. I did book these champions. I just booked one of them, actually. So I did book her. I booked some legendaries who they're just unique copies of, like Countess Lix. She's a +4, but I went ahead and put books into her. So I made a list of the champions that I needed to take to 60, and I booked those. So basically all of the books went to unique legendary champions who needed books for potential future content, basically. Now for the epic books, I'd say probably 50% of these were wasted. Actually, no, probably like a 25, maybe 30%. We'll say 30% was just wasted. So the remainder of those were actually used for epics that I will be using on the account, whether it's for Cursed City or if it's for actual content in the future. But for Sand Devil, I did 17,000 energy spent in Sand Devil about. I didn't track this as well as I wish I would have. For Shogun, it was around 5,000 to 10,000. 100,000 points, I don't think is correct though. Actually, is that 5,000 energy times 20? Yeah, 100,000 points, I guess. I think it's actually closer to 10,000. We can put that here. And that's going to put this to 200,000, right? So let's make sure that's correct. But I'm pretty sure it was closer to 10,000 energy spent. But honestly, I'm not really sure. So that would be 200,000 points, which would put my total points a little bit higher. But somewhere between 5 and 10,000 energy was spent. I don't know for sure which one it was, but it was somewhere around there. So we'll just go back to the 0, the 100,000. For Eternal Soulstones, I did get a little bit impatient and pulled 2. There was more than 50,000 points earned, but I think the Aphodus 5-star soul that I pulled was worth 50,000 points. So I earned a little bit more than that, but I didn't pull anything else. I didn't pull any other Soulstones. I may have pulled a few shards. Here are my shards currently. 45 Ancients, 105 Voids, 17 Primals, 3 Sacreds. And then if we look at what I had to begin with, I actually earned a lot of Ancients. So 16 Ancients, I earned like 20 something, almost 30. Actually about 30 Ancients. For Void Shards, I picked up a few from Clan Boss. Got 1 Primal Shard, and then Sacred Shards, I think I may have pulled 1 and then earned 1 as well. So just nothing basically there. I pulled a few of the Immortal Soulstones, the Immortal and Mortal Soulstones. I converted some of the medium coins to Immortal Soulstones, but nothing really significant. There was no significant amount of shards pulled whatsoever. For forging materials, I did forge a decent amount of stuff. Not a ton, honestly. 600 pieces about. All of those were taken up. I don't know how many points this was exactly for those 600 pieces, but forging is a great way to get a good chunk of CvC points. 4-star chickens, I used 134 of those. That all went to basically preparing for future champion training events. So if we look at my vault here, we're going to see, okay, 5-star champions only. I can't actually see in the vault. But you can see I have a lot of 5-star chickens, basically. So a lot of 5-star chickens are ready to go. These are all the epics. A lot of these I did during CvC, a good chunk of them at least. So these would just be champions I can throw some brews into, boost it up for a future champion training event, just in case we want to actually push for it. I want to have that available and ready. Now, with the rest of the stuff, with the oils, this was a little bit hard to track because I forget how many Sand Devil I did. I didn't track everything perfectly as far as Sand Devil. I started with 191,000 lesser oil, and I ended with a number that's not really going to make sense. Ended with 196. So obviously, I did a lot of Sand Devil to have earned more than what I spent, but the lesser ones are easy to get. You can see I spent plenty of these medium ones. Actually, it was over 2,000. It had to be at least 3,000, but probably even more than that. So at least 3,000, which would have put the big ones a bit higher, or sorry, a bit higher spend as well. So if I spent 3,000 of these, it's going to be what, 1,500 of these, and then 3,600 of this or something. I don't know exactly, but more basically. I earned quite a bit, spent quite a bit. I don't know exactly. For the accessories, let's see what I spent there. It's going to be, once again, kind of hard because it kind of washes out because I spend and I earn. So I improved on the lesser. The medium ones didn't really change much, and the small ones actually went up. So I didn't do a whole lot of accessory ascending, but I did do quite a bit of gear ascensions. I only have 68 Chaos Dust. I had earned a couple hundred of those. Now, as far as what I actually spent, so the total, and gems. I spent 16,000 gems. Forgot about that. But as far as what I actually spent personally, the number is right here. Let's see if I can just get rid of, how do I get rid of this? Make it white so I can actually see it. See, okay, white. So total points, this is accounting for 4.3 million points. So basically there's like 700,000 that's not accounted for, probably from various miscellaneous stuff like upgrading some forging stuff, doing some forging. Maybe I spent a little more silver, maybe a little bit more energy. I did some tag team arena stuff, faction wars, clan balls. All that other stuff is accounted for, basically the missing 700,000 points that's there. 84,000 energy is about what was spent. So less than 100,000, but more than 80,000. And my personal money was $167. I was about to say thousand, but $167. All of that going to energy, which turned out to be, it was about 250 energy per dollar. I tried to get only good deals, and it wasn't actually even all that. So I purchased about 41,000 energy, somewhere around there, I believe. I purchased a Super Bowl pack that had, I think, 20,000. I actually purchased a daily gym pack. I purchased the energy pack that's right here as well, which is not even finished, unfortunately. But $167 is what I'd spent basically all of this month. I just counted all those resources going to this event. So it's probably a little bit less. Now, all of that's to say, this is very expensive to push for, okay? That's what I spent. Obviously, this account already had resources saved up for a very long time. The thing with the resources saved up in this account, a lot of players are like, oh, you get the account and you just blew through all the resources. Resources sitting, like silver especially, when you have 2 billion silver, that's not doing anything just sitting there, right? Especially if you have tons of gear that needs to be upgraded. Just silver sitting is not silver being used. It's silver doing nothing. So using the silver only improved the account. Using the books, using the energy, all of that stuff only improved the account. Some of the best pieces that I got were some of the pinpoint pieces. I got a decent chunk of good pieces here. I need to cleanse some more because I did some more runs. Let's see if we get a nice roll here. I'm not going to go super hard in upgrading stuff at the moment because I already did tons of stuff during CvC. But I got quite a bit of decent pinpoint stuff. I cleansed down to like 800 or less, I believe. So I earned a few hundred pieces of gear, potentially. Still pretty low. I was very strict on the gear. The accessories, we had a lot of spider accessories. Now, my goal is anytime I click on an accessory, I want it to make sense why I kept it. I want it to be a good piece. I don't want there to be any question, why is this here? I want it to be, okay, this is good. This makes sense why it was kept. Triples, doubles, unrolled pieces apparently. But each piece is good. Each piece makes sense. This piece, hopefully, is going to be pretty good as well. Plenty more stuff to upgrade. So I'm hoping to keep this managed over time and actually keep it in a good spot. But we'll see how it actually goes. Now, as far as some champion builds, I did get my Queen of Hearts built. So she was built up and is in currently a Relentless plus Pinpoint set, which is pretty decent. I'm still testing it out. I'm not for sure if I'm going to keep it like this or not. But so far, I like it. She is a champion who I rebuilt. Nishak is a champion who I rebuilt and got him into a 6-piece Pinpoint. And he has, I think, pretty good stats as well. Almost 6,000 attack, 323 speed, almost 600 accuracy. I can glyph the stuff up as well. I got some nice pinpoint stuff in these dungeons. I could get this switch to accuracy. Get some more accuracy on that would be good. This having accuracy instead of speed would be great. Matter of fact, do I have anything down there that could possibly do that? Speed plus accuracy. You never know, right? But I am going to rework some stuff. So when it comes to pushing these crazy high numbers for CvC, people were asking often, where did I get most of my points from? You can see the biggest breakdown came from energy and silver. So spinning energy for the event dungeon and Sand Devil was a massive influx of points. We have 2.5 million just from the event dungeon and artifact upgrades, plus an extra 5 million. So basically 3 million points came from just dungeons plus upgrading. So saving silver is going to be a massive factor on if you can push to 5 million or not. And then having some books obviously makes it a lot easier as well. I mean, 1.2 billion was just from books. So 1.2 billion from books. We have what? Let's say 3 billion. So 3 billion, 1.2 billion, and then the rest was just from other stuff. I mean, energy, silver, save that up. You're going to be good. Purchase energy over the course of several months if you want to do that. Save it in your inbox, assuming it's not going to expire, or claim it and just leave it capped up here. It's not great, but it's better than it expiring. Make sure you have silver, though. Have some forging materials in here. Make sure you have plenty of gear to upgrade, because if you don't have gear to upgrade, it could be bad. I definitely upgraded some pieces of gear that did not need to be upgraded, but I tried to keep it to pieces that I would actually potentially use or could potentially be reworked. If it wasn't one of those two things, I try not to upgrade it. Like this 5-star blue, I'm not going to take it to 16. I could have, and it would have given me points, but I wasn't that desperate for points. And still, I don't have unlimited silver. I do have a lot of silver, but you can very easily blow through all this silver and not even realize it if you just go through and upgrade literally everything. So as far as the general account progression, definitely made some nice improvements. I have a few pinpoint sets that now will be pretty good. Have a lot of new quad roll pieces. A little bit of a showcase here. Let's actually see how many quad roll speeds and merciless I have. We have this one that rolled up during CvC. Let's see, can I actually get this moved? I have several that rolled. I don't want to showcase them all necessarily because it just take too long. I don't know where they're all at. Quad rolls or triple rolls, but 2 quads that rolled, a triple roll there, triple roll there, triple roll there. And then we have a quad roll stone skin chest plate that rolled, very nice. I don't know really what all rolled during CvC except for those few good pieces. There was a really good pair of crit damage gloves that rolled in pinpoint. A very, very good piece. Right here, triple roll speed, defense percentage with more defense percentage. May throw it on a Harima. try her out in this. Let's see what I get here. Split rolls, very cool stuff. No speed, feels bad. But plenty of garbage pieces as well. Plenty of garbage. Very strict with my gear at this point. So a lot of that garbage stuff was just sold though, honestly. But either way, guys, it was fun. It was fun going for the 5 million push. It definitely felt like the beginning was fast. And then after that, it was like, oh man, this, once I was, the first day when I was like, I have to be at 3 million points this first day, or I'm going to have a very difficult second day. I started feeling it towards the end of the day after putting in 2.7 million. I was kind of like, oh, I don't feel like doing any more. Like, I don't really want to run anymore, but I was also trying to wait for the event dungeon tournament coming up. Once that came up, I bursted to like from 3 million to 4.2 million. And then the rest was kind of just a slow grind. And then by the end of the day, I was like, okay, let's throw some books into some champions. Let's finish out some event dungeons, some Sand Devil and stuff like that. And then get it actually finished out completely. And I finished off with some gems being saved. So 5,000 gems saved. I left off with enough resources to actually finish any event that's coming up. So now what I can do is start focusing on tuning these teams for different speed runs and dungeons, pushing Hydra a little bit better, doing Curse City, building some basically set up teams for just easy auto clears. Just so in the future I don't have to even think about it. Just come in here, click the stuff, load it in, it's good to go. Because a lot of these champions aren't built currently. Click through here, just random champs. They're not all built right. Some of them are built very well, but not all of them. So getting some gear on these champions, finishing them out is going to be what my goal is moving forward. And then maybe making some guides and reviews on different champions in the future, trying them out. If you guys want to see some of that content, let me know down in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this. Are you ever going to push for 5 million or maybe even just 1 million points in CvC? I think 1 million points is a very good spot to get a huge amount of account progress done without saving up an absurd amount of resources. It's still expensive. I didn't get to take advantage of 3v3 very much because I'm silver 1, so all mine came from other places, but it's still an amazing place to actually get a lot of points. I'm going to do some Fire Knight to get this fusion stuff done. I'm going to go for the fusion, but I'm probably just going to leave her here in the fragment summon and then just use her for points in a future CvC most likely. But all right, guys, thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you all on the next one.